My name's Andrew, and today we're going to wreck a hog. So let's get started here. As you can see, I have this fresh lemongrass, 2 bunches, and I have 3 pineapples. The way that you find that a pineapple is fresh is you grab one of its little leaves and you pull it, and if it comes out easily, you know it's time to eat it. There's a couple of other ways to do it as well, but today we're doing the leaf pulling technique. You like that?
I like it a lot.
So let's take this first pineapple, let's cut it open. We're going to take each end off, one cut at a time, and then we're going to remove the outer skin of the pineapple and cut each of these pineapples in half. Okay, and let's set these over to the side for a second until we can use them, but we're just prepping all this right now. We want to get all this dialed in. All the magic for these Reka meals are in the prep. Matter of fact, most of the things in life are all in the prep. If you do the preparation right, stuff comes together well. Okay, we're cutting the pineapple now. There's the home run, last cut. All my waste is off to the side. And now let's move on to the lemongrass. So let's start by taking the lemongrass, getting it all lined up at the same width by starting everything at the base. I'm setting it on my chopping board, and I'm kind of bumping them all so that the root or the bottom end is all at the same level. I'm going to take my heavy duty meat cleaver, and I'm going to turn it upside down and actually use it on the blunt end. And as you can see, I'm starting to actually pound the lemongrass every inch or so. That's 25 mils if you're in the rest of the world outside of America. And I just want to do this to break the fibers and start to release all of the flavors and the oils and the smells. And once it starts to cook and heat up inside the pig where we're going to put this, we want to get all of that aromatic fragrance releasing into the hog. Doesn't that smell good? That smells super, super good. Okay, so here we have our hog. I picked up yesterday and I've had it all prepped. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the pineapple and the lemongrass that I've taken, and I'm going to set them inside the cavity of the hog, and I'll eventually sew that up. So let's start by painting this beautiful picture on the inside of all of these layers of flavor. Firstly, I want to create a bed of lemongrass at the bottom of the cavity against the rib cage. We want to roll it up either side and not just set it in the bottom. Then I'm going to take one pineapple half at a time, and I'm going to start to stack bricks almost on top of that lemongrass inside that chest cavity of the hog. So as the hog starts to heat up, all of the heat and the steam is going to start to activate the pineapple and the lemongrass, and they're going to, essentially you're going to have like a steaming bed in there, or steaming cage. So you can see here now I'm taking the remaining lemongrass and I'm now stacking it and laying it over the top of the pineapple to create almost like a sandwich effect, where the lemongrass is holding a lot of structure in there, and it's going to also act almost like a steaming rack itself, giving off flavor as well as the pineapple. We do this for 2 reasons. One is that we want to create more of a dense structure inside of the hog, because the rib cage area is actually the thinnest part of the meat, and we want to make sure that we don't cook too fast the rib cage while the thick, heavy legs are still cooking. So we want to do that for reason number 1. Reason number 2, we just want to have that huge hub of flavor being released out of that chest cavity into the meat from the inside, and we'll be basting from the outside to create flavor there as well. And we're going to add some salt here. I've just taken a bunch of Himalayan pink salt, and there's no set measurement. There's just, you know, grab handfuls and sprinkle it in over the top of your pineapple and your lemongrass. Okay, now comes the 4th of July fireworks. I mean, it's not the 4th of July, but anytime you get to have fire, right? The little boy in you comes out.
Where's good stuff, man? Good stuff. This is the good stuff.
Let's light up these coals. Let's make some magic happen. So while the coals are heating up and cooking off to get to a hot ash point where the embers are just really boiling hot, I'm going to now sew up the outside of the cavity to close up the cavity, because we've now got the steel rod running through the inside of the hog, which you'll see in just a second. And I'm now sewing up that cavity so that we seal up all of that flavor, and that as it rolls round on, as the hog rolls round on the spit roast, that all of that doesn't just fall out. So I'm sewing it up. It's quite a difficult job. I took a little piece of cooking wire and I turned it into a needle because I couldn't find the right type of needle I wanted. So sometimes you just have to do things yourself. And I took some cooking twine, some butcher's twine, and or butcher's string, depending where you're from, and I sewed that up so that I was able to essentially lace up that stomach area all the way down, from neck down to its legs, and you can see there that it's mostly all closed up. Then I used a little bit of an Asian technique that I've seen at various places, and I'm taking just some standard soy sauce here, some salted regular soy sauce, and I'm now just lathering that over the skin, which is just going to help on so many levels. Soy sauce is full of salt. Salt's going to help the skin to dry out and crisp up. It's also going to put infused flavor into that layer of skin. Obviously, I'm going to be basting this hog later on as it's cooking, but to get things started, I like to have that soy sauce, and you can just see there that it's just giving the skin a nice little tint as it gets started. So now comes the magic moment where we get to set up this hog over the top of our Reka rotisserie grill. Do you like that? It's our own personal Reka spit roaster. All right, so I have the pig outside on the spit and starting to roast and crisp its little fatty piggy goodness all to itself over those open flames of coals. And you might be looking and saying, Andrew, what are you doing with a 2-liter Sprite and some condensed milk sitting in front of you with a steel bowl? Well, I'll tell you what we're about to do. We're about to do something freaky weird. And when I first heard about this, I was like, man, that is insane. That's borderline stupid. It's downright like sacrilegious, okay? And so I tried it, and it honestly catches you off guard, because what we want to do is we want to caramelize the skin of the pig so that as it cooks, it's getting flavor. All of that pineapple and that lemongrass on the inside's infusing it from the inside out. But we also want to add the sugar, which is going to caramelize, and it's going to help coat and crisp that crunchy piggy outside chicharrones, right? So that's kind of what we're doing. We're not doing chicharrones, but we want to have that crispy outer, sweet, crunchy pork skin and the meat on the outside being flavored. So as bizarre and weird as it sounds, we're going to take 2 of these cans, and in this case we have 3.5 cups of condensed milk, and I'm going to take an equal portion of the Sprite. Now during this process, during the day of cooking this pig, I'm going to do this several times, but right now just for the camera we're going to do it just once for you. So I'm going to take these 2 cans, I'm going to put them in the bowl. I'm then going to mix an equal portion of good old-fashioned Coca-Cola Sprite, and I'm going to add 3.5 cups of that in as well. Mix it up with said whisk, and then baste on with said brush. We're just going to add some seagulls here, Bob Ross. We're just going to throw a couple little happy little trees over here. We're going to paint pictures, beautiful pictures on this piggy canvas. Okay, so let's have some fun, let's get to it, and let's get painting. All right, so we have all of our ingredients portioned out. I've taken the tops of the cans off these little condensed milk, sweetened condensed milk, actually. Okay, so we're gonna now dump these, or delicately place them into their resting positions. We wanna get all that goodness out of there, because you didn't buy the can for just 90%, right? You bought the can to have all of it. So we wanna make sure that we get as much of that goodness out of there as possible. Let's take can number 2 now. Round 2, fight. Okay, we're gonna get all this out of here. Last amount, let's get that out of there. Oh, just let go, let it go. Okay, very good. Now, it doesn't look like it, but that's exactly, I even got messed with right now. You think 2 of those equals that? Actually, yes it does, because I double checked. All right, so now we're gonna take, let me stick that over there. Oh, we're not gonna stick that over there. Let me clean up, Right, so we have everything in there. Now we're gonna take our Sprite, of all things, and we're just gonna gently start to add that in. So weird, so weird. Look at that, it's kind of turning it all milky. Just gonna slowly add it in. Now, if you don't want it dripping as much, you could maybe reduce the amount of Sprite. For me today, I'm gonna be using a 50-50 or a 1 part to 1 part. If you want it a little bit more thick and gelatinous, you'd probably put in, let's say 1.5 or 2 cups of Sprite to those 3.5 cups of condensed milk. It's something that, you know, depending on how your grill works, you have to find, you know, the happy place where you're at. Okay, so now we're gonna take our little Bob Ross artist brush and we're going to now that's the sound you want to hear to know that you have the right consistency. So let's take this out to the pig and give it some sunscreen, huh? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that basting sauce now of that Sprite and that condensed milk, and I'm just going to baste it all over the hog skin everywhere. And that's going to infuse flavor, it's going to caramelize it, it's going to help that skin come up to a crispy state. It's going to also increase the brownness of the skin as it cooks. We don't want it just to look pasty, we want it to look, that roasted color, heavy duty, savory crust around the outside of the hog. Okay, so while that's cooking, I'm gonna take a few ingredients. Number one, we're gonna have a base of soy sauce. Then I'm going to take some Chinese chili crispy garlic, and I'm gonna put a dessert spoon of that in there. Then I'm gonna take some pure sesame oil, and I'm gonna put approximately a teaspoon into the bowl. Again, with some standard olive oil, another teaspoon of olive oil into the bowl. And then some hot sesame oil, about a half teaspoon into the bowl. This is going to make for an amazing dipping sauce once all of that beautiful rotisserie pork comes off the grill. Finally, I'm going to hit it with some Himalayan pink salt, just a dash of that in there, aka a pinch of salt. And let's give it a good mix. Make sure that all of those flavors come together. Okay, so I've been roasting this hog over these hot embers for the last 6 hours. And what we're gonna do now is, I've taken the temperature, we're above 160. Now I want you to come in and look at this. Because all of the fat has rendered through the meat, all of the pineapple juices, the lemongrass juices, the basting and glaze juices have rendered the meat. You can see here in this consistency that this meat is so tender, it's just gonna fall straight off the bone. So I'm gonna take a little piece of this right now, I'm gonna throw it in the taco, and we're gonna do a taste test. Okay, so I also had some amazing, I've got an amazing homemade tortilla recipe. If you would like to see how to make homemade tortillas, hit in the comments below for me to share that in another video. For right now, I'm taking a ball of tortilla dough, I'm using my tortilla press, and I'm putting it straight onto my flat iron grill. And it cooks very quickly. Now this is gonna be a very rustic street style, so you're gonna get those cool burn marks. Personally, I love that. It makes it super authentic. It's not commercialized and corporate, it's more authentic, and when you can get authentic, take it. Slap it straight on your plate. I'm gonna bring in some phenomenal hog rib meat that's just finished straight off the top of the rotisserie. Future Andrew out, we're done. Oh my goodness, look at this. Okay, look at this. Woo! Don't want any stragglers getting left out. Okay, so you can see we're all plated up here. This is looking absolutely gorgeous. Here is the sauce that I just made earlier. You can check that out in the video. We're gonna just put look at that, absolutely gorgeous. We're gonna put just a little bit of that. It's gonna give it a nice little kick.
I'm gonna kick it up a little bit.
I'm gonna take one of these limes. We're gonna just dredge that over there. Look at that. Doesn't matter if you make a mess, it matters what it tastes like. Look at this. Okay, so are we ready? Let's do this thing. Oh my goodness. Okay, we ready? Let's go. So soft. Oh my goodness. Soft, moist, fatty, caramelized, smoky. You've got the hints of the pineapple coming through, the fragrance of the lemongrass. You've got that sweet chili and lime at the end to finish it off. Absolutely gorgeous. Guys, you need to do this. Get yourself a pig. Guys, I've thoroughly enjoyed making this video. I'm excited to be feeding some really great people in my life. And you know, this has been super flavorful. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, hit the notifications button. We have some amazing more upcoming videos that are gonna blow your mind. Have a Reka day.